Breaking down all 19 things you missed from Survivor Season 44, Episode 11. Careful for any spoilers if you haven't seen the episode yet. And make sure to stick around as we announce last week's puzzle giveaway winner. If you want to enter next week's giveaway, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment down below your favorite moment from the episode. I actually watched the episode live with over 500 Survivor superfans at the RHAP Survivor event. And I got 3 more signatures on my hat from Kane, Maddie, and the man, the myth, the legend himself, Rob Cesternino. Let's get started with number 19, Carolyn in rough shape. We all knew this was coming when Yam Yam and Carson left Carolyn out of the vote last tribal council when Franny was voted out. The issue is Carolyn values the social connections and the social game of Survivor so much. Ultimately, she just needs to cool off after tribal council. The next time we talk about Carolyn, she's back in the game mode. The fact that Carolyn's playing the game so hard with what we're about to talk about, and she understands the social game is so important, that's why she's my winner pick for the rest of the season. The big problem with this fight happening in the middle of the night is now all the other players know there might be a fracture in the Tikka alliance. Number 18, Danny got a vote. The producers are about to have a lot of fun with Danny here as he's so confused who voted for him at the last tribal council. Ultimately, it's Heidi, but he doesn't know this yet, and I don't think he ever figures it out. Heidi ultimately goes all in with this lie, saying no, it wasn't her who voted for Danny. Obviously, Danny talking about this is gonna come up again later, and it's one of my favorite moments of the episode when Yam Yam tells Danny the truth. Number 17, meditation. This moment right here was the start of an awesome episode of Survivor. What's the old saying? Just let the players play. Don't force advantages into the game. Trust your casting process. We see the game slow down for a minute. The players are opening up with each other and just sharing some nice moments on the beach. Heidi's gonna get emotional, open up a lot, leading into number 16, Heidi's flashback. I always gotta start these flashback moments by saying yes, of course, the moment in the story itself is awesome, as Heidi came to America from Puerto Rico with nothing on her back. But the first question I gotta ask is, why is Heidi getting a flashback right here in episode 11? It made me wonder how Heidi's gonna do for the rest of the game as she doesn't end up going home this episode. Number 15, Carolyn and Yam Yam. These two players, Carolyn and Yam Yam, are so awesome to see play together. I'm so happy they started on the same tribe. Not only is Carolyn already over last tribal council, Yam Yam's comforting her and telling her to take all the time she needs. Now, this is going to be important for later in the episode after the challenge, but Yam Yam asks Carolyn if she has the hidden immunity idol. Obviously, Carolyn says no here, but we actually never see Carolyn tell Yam Yam about the idol. Number 14, final 3 deal. Moving into the final 6 next week, the Tikka alliance now has so much power in the game. I don't see many people talking about this because the editors did not do a good job showing it off in the episode, but Lauren and Jamie are actually going to be in such a good spot now as they can either work with Heidi next episode or just work with the Tikka 3 to vote Heidi out. Honestly, it's probably the biggest mystery of this entire episode. How Tikka convinced Lauren and Jamie to vote with them and why Lauren and Jamie decided to work with them. And I think that's the big reason why it gives this Orange Alliance options going into the final 6. Number 13, Danny and Heidi. Playing a game of telephone on Survivor is always such a dangerous game to do. For us, the viewers, for you, for me, it's obvious that Heidi was the person that voted for Danny at the last tribal council. It's just the players don't get all the information. Yam Yam ultimately tells Danny the truth about what's going on here. Not only does Danny not believe him, he's convinced Heidi's still his #1 ally and has a great confessional about how first graders would never believe this lie. Number 12, RHAP event. It was so much fun watching the episode live with the Rob Has a Podcast community, as everyone in the theater exploded when Danny gave that confessional about first graders. To celebrate how fun last night was, we're going to be doing a special discount on Idol Plays this week. Big warning though, the Idol Plays Survivor 44 drop is going to be over the moment the Survivor 44 finale is over. So if you want to check out any of the awesome puzzles and challenges from Idol Plays, I would do that before it's too late. And you need to remember, every purchase on Idol Plays helps support me in the channel. So be sure to use the code RHAP20 for 20% off your entire order. Just go to the first link in the description or idolplays.com to check it out, and thank you so much to RHAP for putting on an awesome event. Number 11, Carolyn's lobster. I don't want to be that guy to say it, but 90-minute episodes of Survivor going into next season might not be all positive and sunshines and rainbows. But yes, it has been confirmed on Twitter by Jeff Probst that next season we are going to be getting 90-minute episodes. Me personally, I'm a big fan of just seeing the players hang out out, interact, do the whole social game thing. It's fun to see. Like seeing Carolyn and Lauren just fight over a lobster. I just hope the casual fans won't find these scenes annoying, as ultimately they're not necessary to the vote off in the actual storyline of the episode. This doesn't turn into 30-minute challenges every week. Again, I'm a big fan of the challenges, but it's a little much having 30-minute long challenges every single episode. This doesn't turn into 30-minute tribal councils. Well, I'm actually not a fan of tribal councils at all in the new era, so this would be really rough for me. Number 10, Carolyn the Mermaid. Again, bouncing into a moment that's not necessary to the overall storyline of the season, I'm so happy we saw Carolyn and Yam Yam just swim in Fiji. Because if I ever got to go on Survivor, the swimming, hanging out on the beach would be a big part of the adventure for me. Carolyn and Yam Yam think Danny might work with them at the next tribal council, but number 9, Danny's plan. Danny's gonna try to work with his rival Lauren to vote a Tikka member out. The first person they want out is Yam Yam for being a big jury threat. Obviously that's not gonna happen because Yam Yam ends up winning immunity, so the other person they want is Carson. Once again highlighting everyone's underestimating Carolyn in this game. Number 8, challenge time. I really did not think we would see this fan favorite torture challenge in back-to-back seasons in the new era of Survivor, as players need to hang out under a steel crate and the last one standing wins. Low-key, I'm hoping we take a break from this challenge for the next couple of seasons and it doesn't become a new era staple. I'm just afraid if we see it every single season, it's gonna start to lose some of its magic. Number 7, immunity challenge. We need to give the Survivor producers a round of applause here as they're actually listening to the fans about the challenge. They ultimately moved the location of the challenge. Unlike Survivor 43, when the swells were moving up and down, it looked like we saw a slow and consistent rise of water. And Carla confirmed at the RHAP live event after the episode that it looked like a new location. That was a big complaint I had with the challenge last season, how it was going up and down super fast, not a consistent rise of water. And we also saw the removal of the advantage part of the challenge. If you remember last season, this challenge saw the choose your champion advantage, where the person that found the advantage got to pick one player to go all in on, and if that player won immunity, then the person with the advantage also won immunity. This is just overcomplicating things for the sake of overcomplicating things. I'm glad they decided to remove this and just have the challenge. A little bit of irony as Breathe In with Danny didn't win the challenge all about breathing, as Yam Yam won the challenge without even knowing it, getting super emotional about his victory. Number 6, the final 7. If the Tikka 3 decides to vote together, this is going to be the last tough vote to get through before the final 6, as they have 3 players in the game. Which is so crazy when you think about it. They started the merge with all 3 of their members and they're still in the game at this point. Danny wasn't always the smartest player, but he was playing the game so hard with constant funny moments. Like the line about if he cloned himself, he would probably still vote for Carson in the end of the game. I'm gonna be really missing Danny. Number 5, the plan. So this is the confusing bit of the episode and really the only point I wish the editors did a better job explaining to the audience. But again, my hope is next season those 90-minute episodes are gonna be able to flesh out these ideas and plans way better. So let's pull out the trusty notepad to break it all down. The decoy plan is to split votes between Jamie and Lauren. This way the players have something to tell the Tikka 3. The real plan for these players is to take out Carson. That's just because the Tikka 3 is way too powerful in the game. Carolyn's plan is to vote out Danny. This is throwing it all the way back to the pre-merge at the Survivor Sanctuary when Danny and Brandon were broing it off and Carolyn wasn't having any of it. The big issue with this plan is Carolyn thinks she needs to use her idol to vote Danny out. And lastly, we have the real plan. So Lauren and Jamie decide to work with the Tikka 3 to get Danny out of the game, leading into number 4, Carolyn investigated. What a genius and low-key move by Carolyn, bringing up the idea of voting out Carson in front of Danny. The whole point of this is just to see how Danny would react to the situation, as Danny falls for the trick perfectly, telling Carolyn it's not the right time to vote Carson out. Having Carolyn spill the beans to Carson about her hidden immunity idol, the plan is to save Carson. So we don't have any information on this. I'm sure we will post-season, but from now, from what we saw in the edit, Carolyn did not tell Yam Yam about the idol. This could come back to hurt Carolyn, as Yam Yam's gonna be like, hey, you didn't trust me enough to tell me this. Number 3, Carson's move. Literally, this is the moment, this is the point in the episode I have a problem with, as a 15-second conversation is what drove the whole vote. Carson tells Lauren and Jamie they should split the votes and vote Heidi out of the game. Lauren and Jamie decide to do this, and because of this, Carolyn technically wasted her idol at Tribal Council. We'll talk about it at Tribal Tribal Council, but I don't think it was a full waste. Lauren's a little pissed on Twitter that they're not getting credit for this move of playing in the middle, and I fully agree the edit did them dirty here. Number 2, Tribal Council. The big talk at Tribal Council was it being Carolyn versus the world. Fighting with other players, fighting with Jeff, and fighting with herself on who to vote out of the game. A little bit of a hot take, but I don't think it fully matters that Carolyn wasted her idol here and voted Carson out. Tribal Council is like theater, and at the end of the day, the jury just wants to be entertained. Everyone, and I truly mean everyone, was freaking out when Carolyn played her idol for Carson. Including the sold out RHAP event, it was absolutely insane in the building. Number 1, Danny voted out. So at the end of the day, Fishback wants Danny to return to a future season, and I fully agree Danny was such a fun player to watch. Anyways, congratulations Lightning Bolt, you're this week's giveaway winner. I'll announce a new winner next week, and click right here for every Survivor Throne Challenge ranked worst to best.